I'm going to keep my eyes closed because I feel like I can concentrate better if I'm just listening to you this way.
That's good. It always helps me in a conversation to talk with someone whose eyes are closed.
Okay. Point taken.
All right. Welcome back to This Week in Film. It's the weekly podcast where we get together to talk about the movies we've seen over the past week. I'm Nick Ponto. My eyes are wide open. I'm joined by a very special guest, Matt Lauer.
Hi, Nick.
Hi, Matt.
Hi, listeners.
Are you the famous Matt Lauer?
Nope.
Or the newscaster Matt Lauer? Oh, the old turnaround is what I did.
I suppose.
I guess we could just call you Doc. We'll call you Doc Matt.
I'll take it.
No.
But I
No. Memphis Matt it is. Because we've got a Matt, we've got another Matt, or other Matt, and now we've got Memphis Matt.
That's a good point, Nick. You do have lots of Matts.
We've got a lot of Matts.
I don't know how the Memphis part fits in, but okay. I'll take it.
Memphis Matt. What
Yeah.
brings you here today?
I came here to watch and talk about... You're going to edit this out, right?
Probably. So, Memphis, what brings you here today?
I came because you and I watched a movie called The Dead Room.
That's right. We watched.
And we wanted to talk about it.
We watched The Dead Room. It's a 2015 classic horror thriller. Matt, tell us what The Dead Room was about.
Well, spoiler alert for all of you listeners who are interested in watching The Dead Room. It's not good. And plot-wise, there are a few people. One is, I think she's supposed to be a psychic.
Yeah.
And then two guys who are ghost hunter type guys.
Ghost hunters, yet skeptics.
Yeah. And technical gurus also. At least one of them, because he's got to explain all the technical stuff for the audience.
One of them has a Geiger counter.
Yeah.
And the other one's got headphones and a boom mic.
Well, and I'm pretty sure one of them just has a box with some duct tape on it to make it look like some sort of piece of technical equipment. It might be a thermometer. Yeah, plot-wise, so they're there in a house.
What kind of house
That's
is it?
kind of the plot.
Is it a spooky house?
No. It's a house with you know these technical words better than I do. Is it high saturation and low something else? Whatever that.
It's got a high saturation of spooky.
Point is, there are some interesting colors in this movie.
The color temperature of the movie changes from camera shot to camera shot.
That's true. And you can tell that whoever's behind the camera directing the cinematography is wants to do some interesting things.
Yeah.
But they're working with a pretty limited script.
So this movie was terrible. We knew it was terrible. We watched it because we expected it to be terrible. I'm pretty sure we didn't watch half of it.
Yeah. So we're only really rating or reviewing half of the movie.
Right. So from what we gathered, from what we saw, these three characters, this guy, another guy, and a young girl.
Let's just say there's the Ryan Stiles looking guy.
Yeah, Ryan Stiles,
the
old cop,
old
not
dude.
Charlton Heston.
Yeah, the non-Charlton Heston.
And goth girl.
Yeah, and she's not quite goth. So, don't let that turn you away.
She just hasn't bought the black lipstick yet.
Yeah. She's like the goth girl, but without the beginner starter pack thing.
Yeah. They come to this dilapidated?
Yeah, that's right.
House.
You got it.
Go inside and begin ghost hunting. And over the course of
doors open,
14 years,
doors closed.
They're there.
It's either
every night,
3 days or a couple months.
Yeah, every night the house goes through more and more spooky trauma.
No, it kind of goes through the same spooky trauma.
Right, yeah, the chandeliers
over again, rather than there's not much progression.
The doors start slamming. As the movie goes on, the doors slam harder.
Or more frequently.
Right.
Something punches holes in the walls.
Yeah. A couple of cool visual effect things.
Really? What was that?
When the cops at some point, cops show up when the cops were like picked up and thrown in the air. That was kind of
There's a little bit of it's not quite wire foo because there's no foo.
Yeah, it's more like wire throw.
Yeah.
Movie.
TM.
It's surprisingly had much higher production values than I expected.
Yeah, that's true.
I expected a lot of grainy video.
Mm-hmm.
But it was crystal clear. It looked fine.
Yeah, visually it was an enjoyable movie.
Yeah, you even remarked at the beginning you enjoyed, like, you think it had an interesting look until it got boring because they had the same 7 shots over and over again.
Yeah, it was a nice shot used many times.
Yeah. But overall, just a boring horror movie.
I kind of liked the visuals on Goth Girl.
The opening scene where she's whiter than the sun.
Yeah. So if you're into that, you'll enjoy this movie.
So this was
or the scenes that she's in.
This was a very low budget-ish kind of movie filmed in New Zealand, and I thought I would read some of the trivia from the IMDb page since we didn't watch half the movie. Surprisingly, this is the first film in the world, Matt, to use...
for the listeners, I am giving expressions of surprise.
Right now, his expression says, "What?
Really? Tell me more."
The world? This is the first film in the world to use Acoustic Science's new Rumble TM. I did air quotes there. Yeah. Rumble TM sound technology. The soundtrack literally shakes the cinemas. Literally.
So this was literally released in cinemas?
I guess.
Oh, that is news.
In New Zealand, at least. The Dead Room is inspired by a New Zealand suburban legend surrounding.
It's a new subgenre.
Surrounding an historic farmhouse in central Otago.
Oh. And for those of you who like New Zealand stuff, you'll probably find it satisfying.
There were no hobbits.
No, that's true.
No Darth Vader lava castle.
Does that happen in New Zealand?
That's where Sauron lives. That's his roommate. Sauron's roommate is Darth Vader.
Oh. So there's that part of the plot too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. By the way, this takes place during Star Wars Rogue One.
Star Wars.
Yeah. This was Star Wars. I'm sorry. This was The Dead Room, a Star Wars story.
If you like New Zealand accents, you'll get an hour and a half of that.
Yeah. Let's see.
Speaking of the length,
there are only 5 trivia facts for this movie.
Well, before you move on to the next one,
yeah,
Nick, I'm interested in your thoughts on this. The length of the movie. Did you feel as though it was appropriate?
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
How long do you think the movie was? Specifically.
Based on how long it felt?
Yeah.
Well, I felt like it was maybe like 40 minutes long, but I think that had there were some outside factors involved in that.
It was an hour 18. It wasn't even 90 minutes long. It felt twice as long as it needed to be.
Oh, I suppose I was having a better time than you.
Yeah. Well, my problem was mostly the company. So the film, another trivia fact that 15 out of 16 people found interesting.
What 16 people?
Filmmakers visited the real farmhouse from Otago, the suburban legend.
I find that interesting, Nick, because I did happen to notice, and I think you concurred, that what we saw looked very much like a set.
I agree. It looked an awful lot like a set, mostly because of the fake plants all over the place.
In fact, I don't think I've seen such set work style since Plan 9 from Outer Space.
But the filmmakers visited the real farmhouse during pre-production and experienced strange problems with their video equipment.
Oh, maybe that's why they didn't film on location.
Perhaps. I mean, imagine if you're trying to make a movie about a spooky house and your equipment keeps failing because of ghosts.
I gotta say, I have a hard time figuring out what I would do if I had a haunted camera.
You know what's fun to say? Spooky house over and over again.
I liked haunted camera.
Another trivia fact. The real house in central Otago has a front door that opens by itself. When filmmakers visited the house, the door was ajar, despite having 2 locks attached to it.
Attached.
Yeah.
but not necessarily locked.
Engaged, right, yeah. Well, that's one thing we said while we were watching the movie, because doors just keep swinging open and closed.
If the doors were unlocked but the locks were engaged, it would never be able to close.
Right, yeah. I've been in quite a few houses in my time, and in some houses during very violent storms. Not once has a door ever blown open because of a gust of wind.
Well, I'm afraid, Nick, that might indicate that you have been in many haunted houses. Hey, wait, no.
No.
I think what it actually says, sorry. But while that may not indicate that you've been in haunted houses, that may support the claims that the house in this movie was indeed haunted.
Oh.
Think about that.
The final trivia fact, Laura Peterson, who I believe plays Goth Girl.
Laura Peterson, if you're out there, I'm single.
She performed her own stunts in the film.
So when she fainted, that was actually her. Nick's laughing because it wasn't extremely convincing.
I really felt like I wish that someone had caught her, because it took her 10 seconds to hit the ground. Oh, that was the sound of fainting.
Yeah, it was a gentle faint.
Yeah, but
I've never fainted though. Maybe that's how it happens sometimes.
I've fainted before. I've passed out.
Did you ease yourself down a little bit? Maybe you felt it coming on.
No. In fact, I read something somewhere, probably the internet, that said that
I've heard that there's a lot of information out there.
There's tons of it.
Although I have a hunch that some of it's not necessarily true. But what'd you find out?
You can't lie on the internet.
Oh, I didn't know that.
The back of your head is heavier than the front of your head, because there's more bone back there. And if you pass out while standing still, like the character in the movie was, your head has a tendency to roll back, which will throw your weight off to cause your body to fall backwards, rather than forward, where you could do more damage to your face, because the back of your head is heavier and thus more protected against impact. So if you see someone standing still and they fall forward, odds are they did not faint.
They're faking it.
Yeah, that's right. If anyone falls forward, they faked it.
Well, wait, Nick, though. What about the factor of posture? Does that assume that you have good posture and that you're standing straight up? Because I have the tendency to look down at the ground, to not
no one with
threatening
poor
to other
posture
people.
can faint.
Oh,
Yep.
so,
It's a lie from Big Posture, the conglomerates, that having better posture means that you won't, you're in better health. But if you have poor posture, you won't faint.
Listeners, this conversation may have gotten derailed a little bit. So we watched The Dead Room.
2015 movie. Oh yeah, at the end there's crazy credits. At the end of the movie.
Oh yeah, there was an end credit scene.
Oh yeah, inside the spooky house. I don't know why I keep saying spooky house.
You said earlier you like saying it.
I know, but why do I keep saying it? So
Fun.
at the basement of the spooky house, Ryan Stiles and not Charlton Heston find the body of a woman chained to a chair. And they do the right thing and call the cops immediately. And the police show up to, handle the situation. And when they go down there,
2 police.
the police, that's all of the police in New Zealand. That's all of them. There's Mitch and Sergeant Murphy. He's Irish.
Well, I'm sure there's some Irish population in New Zealand.
Sure,
they don't discriminate. They seem like friendly people.
Everyone's eligible for a well-paying job. So Mitch and Sergeant Murphy go into the house, and when Murphy goes down the steps with Ryan Stiles, they come back up and say the body's not there. The mummified lady chained to a chair is gone.
Now, I've noticed that oftentimes, I listen to a lot of podcasts. Oftentimes in podcasts, people will say after the fact, spoiler alert. So now that Nick's told you that the body's missing, I'm going to let you know. Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. The body is missing.
Dun, dun, dun.
And at this point is when our female lead faints. She gets Storm from X-Men eyes.
Yeah, that's
she
true.
Convulses on the floor, and then she wakes up and says, "The spirit was protecting us from her." And they go, "What?"
Dead.
And then the police officers get thrown into the wall. And then the movie basically ends.
I was going to say, that's pretty much...
It's really the end.
Well, I mean, since we're spoiling things, spoiler in 3, 2, 1, then
Don't
Goth
count down
Girl
on my
runs
show.
outside and hands grab her from underground.
Which was kind of a neat effect. It had it reminded me of Beetlejuice a little bit.
Oh, it reminded me of crap.
And then something happens to her. I wasn't paying attention.
Something happens to her after that? Oh, I just thought she disappeared. Yeah, she fell into a tunnel.
Is that what happened?
then
She
just
got, and then the
disappeared.
ghost lady kind of crawled towards the camera.
Oh, it was crawling towards her. I understand that now.
Is that what happened?
I guess. And then it ended.
Yeah, and then it was over.
And then there's an after credit scene, which
we
is
just
a
kinda look
still
at
image of the stairs.
The stairs, yeah, which was boring.
For about 3 seconds.
But
And
it's
then
slowly pushed in, which kept with the theme of the rest of the movie, slowly tracking camera moves.
over. Oh,
So that was The Dead Room.
yeah.
I don't recommend you watch it. It was pretty boring,
Yeah. And we already spoiled all the good parts.
but visually not uninteresting.
maybe if you just appreciate
I mean,
photography and
how
visuals.
often do you get to experience the first movie in history that literally shakes the cinemas with acoustic science's new rumble sound technology?
I question that because I feel like back in 1993 when I saw Jurassic Park, when the Tyrannosaurus stomped around, that shook the cinema.
No, this literally shakes the cinema. It literally shook it. Yours figuratively shook the cinema.
No, I mean like literally.
And
like,
also, you're in America.
It had
so
such
you
a
went,
heavy pounding sound.
Oh my God! You know what the tagline for this movie is? there is
shaky sound.
There is an intruder. It's you.
That's stupid.
Yeah. That's really all the information I can steal from this IMDb page about this movie. Let's see what else we got.
So
That's it.
how much time's left in the podcast, Nick?
Well, right about now we're at 19 minutes.
So
So at this point is when we could play a game.
I was gonna say maybe it's time for a round of that game that we gave a title to before.
Are you interested in playing our new game?
Was it movie versus movie?
It sure was.
Okay, sure.
Batman versus movie, Dawn of Movie.
Why, yes, Nick. I think
All right, so Matt and I came up with this game earlier tonight. Basically, the premise is that Matt is gonna
wiggity
So, Matt,
diggity do.
tell us.
Since you're cutting stuff out.
All right, so basically, the premise of this movie is that the premise of this movie, the premise of this
movie, known as the
All right.
Dead Room. There's 3 people in a house.
So we watched The Dead Room tonight. All right, so we're going to play a game. We came up with this tonight. We're going to call it Batman versus Movie, Dawn of Movie. The idea is that Matt's going to suggest a movie, and I'm going to try and think of a similar movie. of a similar genre or
Something
style.
that it's similar in some vein. Maybe
we're gonna decide.
maybe by theme.
Yeah.
Perhaps even by like plot or actors or something.
Yeah. Something relatable, some connection between the two, and then we're gonna decide which is the better movie.
Right.
All right.
In our opinions.
No.
Oh, for real?
Fact.
Oh. Well, that's
once
ambitious.
we say it, it becomes a fact.
Good.
All right.
You're darn right.
So go ahead, Matt.
Okay.
Because I'm terrible at this part, the coming up with things on the spot as far as movie titles.
Okay. Iron Man.
Oh, Iron Man. I'll put that.
Breakthrough Marvel movie.
Really was.
Action, high budget superhero.
God damn it, I suck at this.
Can you say that on your podcast?
Yeah,
you broke out the GD.
We're explicit.
You are?
Yeah.
Oh.
Let's see. Iron Man versus Batman Begins.
Oh. That's a good choice, actually. I feel like perhaps not in tone or anything, but in terms of quality, you're hitting a pretty similar area.
Yeah.
So, wow. Because I really appreciate the tone and the good origin story of Batman Begins. I feel like it was a, comic movie to really kind of take things seriously. And no, I mean, not just because it's so gritty, but just like it was really going like, hey, we can make a real movie here. But Iron Man has high quality humor and stuff. I feel like it's got kind of a weak third act, but I think I might have to go with Iron Man on this one.
I am torn.
Which Batman Begins came first, though, right? Because Iron Man came out the same summer as The Dark Knight, right?
Yeah. Batman Begins relaunched the modern superhero movie.
Yeah.
And
as a Batman fan, I'd say it was really satisfying.
It's a very satisfying movie. I would also say that the third act of Batman Begins is where it struggles the most. But
yeah, you're right about that too. I guess they have that in common.
But it's not poorly done. I just think that it's a movie that has to wrap up too quick. But then again, so does Iron Man. Iron Man, it's when they develop that Marvel formula where, all right, he's got to fight a bad guy to wrap this up. Boy, if I had to pick, I got to go with Batman Begins over Iron Man.
Oh man, I find myself in a very weird position here, Nick.
It's a tough one. It's a tough one. I might go the other way in 5 minutes.
Batman Begins is probably I'll see it more, and I am biased because I love Batman. But I got all right. So this might be controversial, but I don't think the Michael Keaton Batman movies. Well, I won't say I don't think they're good. I didn't enjoy them very much. But gosh, I think
if you could take the Dark Knight out of Batman Begins, because
it's hard to do.
They work together as one sort of long movie.
I almost want to say, here's what I want to say. If I'm looking for fun, I'm going to go Iron Man.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm looking for a more serious story, I'm going to go Batman Begins. And at the end of the day, story for me trumps everything, and there might be a little Batman bias. I'm going to go with Batman Begins too.
Yeah, I think that's where I come down to is the story. Like Iron Man has a lot of cleverness to it and a lot of great effects, and it's a lot of fun to watch, but the Bruce Wayne becoming Batman story I think is a lot more compelling than Iron Man, the Tony Stark becoming Iron Man story.
Yeah. But that was a good competition there between the two.
That's good. All right, let's try and follow that one up with something else.
All right, try one more. Let's see. How about something animated? What have we got in the world of like Pixar and stuff? Okay, how about this? Finding Nemo.
Oh, Finding Nemo. Against Shark Tale.
Did you even see Shark Tale?
No.
Okay, let's not do that one.
Let's see. Finding Nemo versus boy,
It could even be another Pixar movie.
That's
Just
that's
keep it in
the only place I'm at because they're like the highest quality. I haven't seen a lot of non-Pixar or Disney animated movies.
I was gonna say something. There's something new that has a Pixar feel, but it's from Disney.
The Zootopia. We just watched that tonight,
that
but I wasn't paying attention to it. That is a grown-up movie. That
I've heard it's really good.
It was pretty good from what I saw. I was cracking up. That scene with the sloths is really funny.
Wreck-It Ralph, I think, is Disney, but not Pixar.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Finding Nemo, an adventure movie. Let's say Finding Nemo versus.
In this episode of Movie versus Movie, Nick will struggle.
I suck at this. I hate this coming up with stuff thing.
Oh, well, how about this? Finding Nemo versus Up. Or no, not Up. What's the one with all the feelings? Inside Out. There you go.
Finding Nemo versus Inside Out.
Oh, shoot. Okay. Have you seen Up?
I watched half an hour of Inside Out and had to turn it off because I couldn't stop crying.
Well, and this is why they might compare well. But you know what movie has some other cries? Up.
I have seen Up quite a few times.
What do you think?
If I had to pick between the two, boy. So Up has that very emotional introduction.
Yeah.
Which I think is very well done.
Yeah. I think that's a real standout moment in Up, though.
I agree. Like a lot of the rest of the Up, which is really well done just in general, pales in comparison to the beginning. But Finding Nemo, I think, is a solid movie, start to finish.
Yeah, and I don't think with Up, I don't think it's just that the beginning's sad and the rest of it's not sad. I think the beginning's just more engaging than the rest of it.
Yeah, well, the beginning, you go on such an emotional journey at the very beginning of the movie. Like, you start off with these two young kids, and then you follow them their entire lives in a matter of 3 minutes. And when the intro movie is over, and you're just like left with this curmudgeonly old guy, and you kind of just say, okay, well, I guess we're going to go on an adventure with this guy, but it's not going to be as heart-wrenching as what I just watched, which is fine. Up is a fine movie.
Well, but Finding Nemo sort of has that too, because at the beginning of Finding Nemo, where his whole family's eaten,
yeah,
that's sad.
It's sad, but it's not devastatingly sad. It's not.
Well, maybe I care more about fish than humans.
Like
I was really feeling that.
Like the Finding Nemo beginning, is a real Disney. That's a Disney. That's a Disney death kind of beginning. Whereas the Up
is like, this is real world.
This is real.
Yeah,
you're gonna feel like this could happen to you at any moment.
Yeah,
you could fall in love and get old.
Yeah.
But if I had to choose between the two, which is what we're doing right now,
versus movies about, or
I've got to go with Finding Nemo.
Superman.
I would have to say Finding Nemo is better than Up.
Yeah. You know what? One thing I think that happens in Up is that you've got this relationship between the old curmudgeonly dude and the kid.
Yeah.
And you sort of have something like that with Marlin and Dory. But with Finding Nemo, you've also got a lot of other relationships and stuff going on. You got lots of different characters doing different things. So, yeah. And as I'm going to say something that might be kind of controversial, but I know this show doesn't shy away from controversy. So I'm going to say,
we live in it.
Yeah. I don't like the dog in Up.
Yeah.
Like, I don't, it's like Squirrel, and I'm like, I don't care.
I think it's funny, but it gets old.
Yeah.
I like the dog that has the high-pitched voice because his voice thing is all messed up. I think that's very funny. But I think a lot of Up revolves around it all revolves around the relationship between the old man and the kid.
Yeah. It's just more, more narrow.
They add in the antagonist later. Like, I feel like the antagonist in Up, the old explorer who's looking for the bird.
Okay, I only saw that movie once, and it was in the theater, so I'm going to confess, I have no idea what you're talking about.
The whole reason that the movie exists is there's a bird. It's like a giant, goofy bird.
I vaguely remember now that you're telling me about it.
And that's what the old explorer guy is looking for.
Okay. Oh, yeah. There's a guy looking for like a dodo.
Yeah, and then like he's old and he's crazy, and so then he like starts attacking the old man from Up. Everyone's an old man in Up, but
for the kid.
The one thing that Nemo has is it's very optimistic about life.
Yeah.
Even in the face of tremendous adversity, whereas Up is very pessimistic about life, where it's everything you have is going to be taken from you no matter what you do. Whereas Nemo is you can get anything back if you try hard enough.
See, no, I didn't get that from Finding Nemo. I felt like Up was kind of existential. Like, okay, like what's the meaning of doing stuff, knowing that life's transient and things come and go. But with Finding Nemo, I felt like the theme was a lot more about just uncertainty and being willing to do things that frighten you, because if you don't, you just don't get to experience important and meaningful things.
Yeah,
so,
that's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I use that a lot when I talk with people about like personal things. In my mind, it's sort of a reference of
you have been known to say, "What would the fishy do?"
And I don't remember ever saying that.
You have been known to say, "Just follow your gills."
But I do like the quote where what? No, I do like the quote where Marlin's talking to that old sea turtle, and he's like, the sea turtle's like, you're saying, hey, you got to let things happen to Nemo, and he's like, oh, but or you got to let him do stuff, and he's like, well, what if something happens to him? And he's like, well, if you don't let him try, then like nothing will happen. And I'm terribly misquoting here.
No, I think that was word for word.
But I really like that. And the moment where when Dory lets go inside the whale's throat, and she's telling Marlin to let go, and he's like, how do I know that
everything will be
okay? And she's like, well, you don't.
You don't.
And that's true. And that's how so much stuff is. So I connect personally a lot more with the themes in Finding Nemo more directly anyway than I don't feel like Up really connects me much with my own existential crises, where I feel like Finding Nemo, I'm like, man, I really feel for these characters this way.
Yeah. I think a lot of the emotional release that you have in Up, like especially in that opening scene or in the closing scenes and stuff, are, I don't want to say cheap. I don't want to say cheap tears, but they know how to pull the heartstrings in those scenes.
Right. It's pretty easy to go like, look, here's something sad.
Yeah.
Boom,
Here's two young people that you watch grow old together, and now one of them's gone. Like, yeah. I mean,
oh, but you know what that does? That does the whole Notebook. The movie The Notebook.
Yeah.
It's like, here that is in 5 seconds. I just saved you 2 hours.
Except without all the abuse.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, without giving you the message that you should be in a crappy relationship where someone treats you badly the whole time and then still idealize
The Notebook is a terrible story.
I think that's what we're saying here.
Yeah, that's really what we're going down to.
But at the end, and I don't mind admitting this, I'm still crying when the old people are dying holding each other's hands, because that's sad.
No, because she has no idea who that man is in that scene.
So it's creepy too. Great. Yeah. Even worse. Don't watch The Notebook.
Which is a horrible thing about dementia and those kind of kind of diseases, because that man knows and loves her, but she has no idea who he is.
So I think in the if we want to wrap up this portion at least of movie versus movie, Finding Nemo beats Up, which beats The Notebook, because The Notebook's terrible.
And that'll wrap up this week's Batman versus movie, Dawn of Movie.
Yeah, that.
So what were our final statistics on that? We had Finding Nemo defeats
Nemo defeats Up, which
Batman
Begins
beats Iron Man.
And Batman, by a small margin, pulls ahead of Iron Man.
Now, what movie Batman Begins versus Finding Nemo?
and the relationship between these two movies is that we've spoken about both of them today. Let me see here.
Batman Begins has Batman.
That's a point.
And Finding Nemo has seagulls.
They didn't do much for me either. I felt like they were the Finding Nemo version.
The seagull
of that
sounds like a terrible DC Comics superhero. DC has the worst.
Was there
superhero
oh no,
name.
that was Flock of Seagulls. That's a whole flock of them.
So the flocking.
Is it a flock? Is that even actually the right word? Because it's a murder of crows. What if it's a murder of seagulls?
It's a good Counting Crow song.
Weird.
Actually, the song's called Murder of One, but it's a good song. Change.
I think we're getting lost in something here.
All right, so this has been
Finding Nemo.
Special bonus
over Batman Begins
week of This Week in Film. I'm not sure when this is going to hit, but it'll probably be in the interim of after my wife has all of her children.
And I think what the word you're looking for is drop.
When this is going to drop. So I'm not sure what week this is, but if you're listening to us on the Podcast Radio Network, you can find us here every week on Wednesday nights at 10 o'clock. Check out podcastradionetwork.net. You can find us on all the various social media. Check us out there. Give us free money on Patreon. Matt, have you given us money on Patreon yet?
No, I haven't yet. But I would be happy to. I do patronize, is that the right word? One creator on there.
Who is it?
I think the name she uses there is Shay Lindsay. She used to be the Nostalgia Critic's sidekick, the Nostalgia Chick.
Oh.
Now she has her own thing on Patreon. So
Nostalgia Critic, he's the guy with the beard and
Doug Walker, yeah. He actually lives out near me, and he shows up at he's really a nice guy. He shows up at lots of the local movie theaters and stuff to talk with people in Barnes and Nobles and stuff like that. So I'm hoping someday to actually get to meet him in person.
Oh, very cool.
Things. But he had a sidekick for a while, Nostalgia Chick, and now she's doing her own thing on Patreon. So I support her, and y'all mean a lot to me, so I'll support you too. Now that I realize you're on Patreon.
Yeah, go ahead. We're really active.
So,
on it.
Matt, do you have anything to plug? Yeah, I think I just plugged Shay Lindsay on Patreon.
You'd like to support mental health?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So I will plug psychotherapy in general.
Oh, very nice.
If you're feeling down or stuck, don't be scared to go to therapy.
Yeah, that's not how that song goes.
I don't know the song you're singing. So yeah, go to therapy.
REM. Hang on.
Everybody
Hang
hurts.
on.
I think it's Hold On. But anyway, it's a good song. It's a good song. I like it.
Everybody. That is REM though, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I don't have anything else to plug. But this has been This Week in Film, and if that's the end of the reel.
And I think it is. Thanks for letting me visit.
Hey, Matt, thanks for coming by. Really appreciate it. Really appreciate seeing you.
It's good seeing you, Nick.
And we're definitely... Matt and I watched the Neil Breen movie called Double Down.
It's not the end of the reel
a couple
yet.
of months ago, and we forgot to record an episode. And
true.
I am not going to have watched that movie without like having talked about it. So we're going to have a special Neil Breen episode at some point in the future.
Yeah. A couple months from now, I'll come out and visit again.
But
we'll watch go
one
through
of
that.
We'll watch two of his. We'll watch
Spoiler alert, it's bad.
It's, oh man, definitely worth watching though. If you like really bad movies, look up Neil Breen and enjoy. But if that's the end of the reel,
And it is.
we'll see you next week in film.
Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun.